wide onto the far side of the ground looking for Cade Monday. He takes it on centre wing, railway side of the ground, steps around a player, then kicks it in the Bulldog direction, who's been quiet today. Mark of the day, though, taken by Dylan Riley as he climbs above Bulldog and takes a screamer across half-back for the Doggies. Kicks it out wide here now towards Trevina, who's got the ball in the last line of defence for the Bulldogs. Looks up field, hasn't got a great deal on offer except Brown, who runs in with the head bandaged up and marks it across half-back. Looks down on the centre wing position here now, looking for Matt Hansen, who's shaping probably as South's best player here so far today, as he marks it right in front of the broadcasting position.
Yeah, spot on there, Barry. He's going to be in line for the net 19 player of the day.
Steadies the game down. Thorpe comes towards it. Mitchell Thorpe there, and he's been smacked around the head. Tried to stage it a little, the umpire having none of it. There'll be a throw-in.
Just really interesting. I thought, what's the influences Jason Laycock had on the game? He's actually had 0 marks for the game.
Yes, and he's had plenty of taps, and he does exactly what he did there. He just thumps it, hopes his runners run onto it, and half the time it's South Launceston players like to have a game, and Trevina puts it across, and there'll be a throw-in.
He's had 23 hit-outs for the game, but 0 marks. He's only had 6 possessions. The word from the South Lonnie huddle from Doc Reed down there, Thorpe, he wants them to forget the scoreboard. He wants them to kick long. There was too many short kicks, as we mentioned, and he's asking for a massive effort. It was a very, very vocal Mitchell Thorpe at three-quarter time.
Somehow Shackleton gets a kick out of the pack, kicks inside 50, but it's all the Bulldogs, taken away by James. He kicks here towards us on the broadcasting side of the ground, and Braden McGee, the sub who came onto the ground with his new haircut there, is marked right in front of us. There's his kick now towards centre wing, looking for and finding the big fella in Mitchell Hills. He's been a good contributor for the Bulldogs all through the game. Looks around now, doesn't have a great deal on offer, so he decides to just pump it along and go towards centre half forward. There's one South Launceston against 3 Burnie players, and you heard a great mark by Banham. He taps it about 4 times at the top of the pack, and he falls and stumbles to the ground and marks across half-back for Burnie. He kicks it out of defence to Braden Hayes. Hayes has got space on centre wing broadcasting side of the ground. Kicks it in here to where Riley's in front again. Goes over the back. James is there, fumbles, eludes a player, runs into a bit of trouble, then handballs over the top, and he takes the old 1-2 as he gets it back. Ends up here now with Ryland Coombe. He decides to kick it and kick in the Thorpe direction. He tries to fend off 2 opponents, taking it to the line there as Walters. He keeps it in. Handballs over to Shackleton. He's under the pump. Shackleton handballs on there further now to Banham. Banham twists and turns, kicks it out of the fence, kicks it in towards the Morrison direction, but it goes across the back of him and down towards Gray. Gray takes it now and throws the ball towards the boundary line, and it trickles out, and there'll be a throw-in right on interchange at the 3 3/4 minute mark of the final term.
Interesting there that Nick McKenna tried to run off Mitch Thorpe, and Plant gave McKenna the chop out. I tell you what, if Plant keeps too long on Thorpe, he could be in for a big last quarter.
Boundary throw-in. It's Laycock up against Cody Thorpe, centre wing. Thorpe takes it out of the ruck, gets a quick left foot kick into the centre square. Leading the race to the ball there was Dylan Riley. He can't take possession. Harper kicks off the ground, across the ground. He leads the race for the ball again. Thinks about kicking it off the ground, but then takes the ball, evades a couple of opponents, kicks up towards the wing. Alex Russell's in front of Harry Walters, takes the ball, tackled immediately by Walters. Tackled to the ground. Does he release the ball? Yes, he does. So he's not going to be penalised, and I think it's going to be a ball up centre wing, railway side of the ground as I grab the binoculars, as it's a long way from the action over here in our commentary position in the level 4 of the RSUT stand. Thanks very much to AFL Tasmania for providing us these facilities. As the knockdown comes from Harper, falls though to Burnie. Burnie player gets a quick kick away towards Banham, who's infringed. His arm is chopped. And Macca, this last quarter, players like Banham and Shackleton, these experienced players, could make a big difference for the
Yeah, looks spot on, Dave. And as you say that, Brady Gray's down here. He's jumping up and down. He's all on his own. But Banham cannot get the footy to him.
Banham kicks down the wing instead to Braden Hayes, takes the ball in the half volley, gets around Will Hansen, kicks further afield, Nick Walters fumbles the ball. He's in close attendance there as Dylan Riley. Over the top to Banham, who's getting a heap of it in this last quarter. Dummies a handball and kicks around the corner in towards the forward line. Looking there for Robertson. Well knocked away by James. Drake's on the base of the pack. Finally, it's back with James. Gets a handball over the top towards Jade Child. Child to Hansen. That's Will Hansen. Back once again to James. James kicks on the wing to Harper. Great play out of defence there from the Bulldogs. Harper now has space. Kicks to Mitchell Hills. He's 2 kicks out from goal. Fakes the hand pass to Johncock. Decides not to. Kicks inside 50 looking for Mitch Thorpe. Although it's just outside 50, he takes the mark. The long way out from goal. I don't think he'll take a shot. He's shaping to. He'll be kicking from about almost 60 metres out. In a very stiff angle. Kicks inside 50 now. Looking there for Trevina. Gets first touch, but it can't get the second one. knocked out of bounds.
It's the second time Thorpe has done that from in front of the scoreboard over there. He's gone short both times, one earlier in the game and one there, and missed the target both times.
Not a high percentage option.
He's got Mitchell Hills and Alex Russell deep in the square. Get it in, I reckon.
Great tap out there from Laycock to Barrett. He's tackled immediately though. Gets a quick kick out on the right foot. He's non-preferred. Doesn't go to anyone in particular. Picked up by Bardenhagen. Gets the delivery there towards Mansell up from the defence. Kicks inside 50. Not a good delivery. Quick kick out there from Harry Walters. Kicks outside 50, but a good mark there taken by Thane Bardenhagen. He's about 70 metres out from goal, directly in front. Goes a big kick inside 50. Up there as the Flyers. Rory Mansell nearly takes the mark. Alex Russell takes it. Can't get a kick away. Burnie defence hold firm. Quick out of defence. But the only man there is Braden McGee. Thinks about playing on and does. Has a man in space. I think it's Rulla Kelly Mansell. And he's taken the mark. And he's at a 45-degree angle, about 30 metres out. And in grand finals, these are big, big shots.
Burnie just lost their structure there a bit. South Launceston had players everywhere on their own, and Burnie were just chasing players and just could not, South Launceston are pressing up. Rory Mansell was up there, and Rulla Kelly Mansell's about to have a kick for goal, Dave.
45 metres out, comes in, straight through the middle. That's an important goal for the Bulldogs. He's congratulated there by Zane Brown. Other Bulldogs flock towards Rulla Kelly Mansell, and good, calm, experienced play there from Braden McGee also summed up the situation. Saw Kelly Mansell free, and he's put through a goal. South Launceston 9-12-66, Burnie 7-6-48, 7.5 minutes into the last quarter.
I was going to mention, Dave, Shawnee James. We said that maybe it was a bit of a match-up issue down there with Robinson, but look, a true effort to Shawnee James. He stood to his task, and especially there, he ran off Russell Robinson, and a fair chance Russell won't chase him out of the...
Great play out of defence.
Yeah, it was awesome. And look, he stuck to his task. Robinson's taken a few marks, but Shawnee James stuck to his task well.
Now Hills gets a tap down for South Launceston. It's still in the centre of the ground, and there'll be a secondary bounce up here. Burnie players calling for holding the ball, but I don't think there was any opportunity.
And Burnie going to have to kick, 4 goals to even get back in front by a goal. So,
18-point margin at the moment. Then Laycock receives a free kick for a backhander in that rucking duel. And there's one of his few stats for the day. Kicks it in towards the Shackleton direction, and Luke Shackleton lines up from 45 metres out and kicks one for the Burnie Dockers. They're still in the game, back to 12 points at the 8.5-minute mark of the final term. He kicks his second, and Burnie have kicked 8 goals, 6.54. South Launceston 9-12-66.
Now, I want to declare it now, boys, so we get out of the way. if it's a draw this afternoon, I've checked with Wayne Povey from AFL Tasmania.
Yes.
We do have extra time.
We do have extra time.
5
No,
minutes
next
each
week.
way. No,
I
next
suppose
week.
AFL Grand Final next week could be a bit of an issue. But, okay, extra time. Well, look, it's an even 2 goals, so you never know. Interesting... Sean Mountney down on the boundary said that Brent Plant's had enough up in the box. He's too keen. He's got down on the boundary line to coach his players from the boundary line.
It's darkened up a little bit too, hasn't it? The heavy clouds are starting to come in, but there'll be no rain. You can bet on that as the ball's taken away by Burnie's Cade Monday. Kicks out wide there looking for Walters. Nick Walters, who's played the second half in the forward line. Gets it on to Templeton, back to Walters. Eludes one player, 2 players. Handballs over the top to Hardy. Hardy kicks from 55 metres out. Skews off the left side of the boot a little bit in the Robinson direction, but it's too long for that player. Dribbles across the line, and the boundary umpire will throw it in right alongside of the behind post, going to the town end. Just
a reminder, the commentary team today giving a Best Player Award, a $50 voucher courtesy of Paul Woods from Net 19 in Abbott Street.
From the throw in, town end of the ground, the wind has dropped away a little bit in this final term. Laycock tries to grab the ball. He's pushed to the ground. The ball goes down with him. Big pack of players there for South. Oh, there's a trip, you'd think. And the South Launceston player who picks himself up off the ground in Matt Hansen will relieve for the Doggies across the last line of a defence. There's his kick out, looking for and finding the goal kicker in Rulla Kelly Mansell, who kicked a fantastic goal for the Bulldogs about a minute ago. There's his lovely raking left foot kick to Mitch Thorpe. Thumped away from him. Heads down here towards the other Hansen in Will. He's pushed to the ground with the ball, and the umpire said he had no opportunity. We'll bounce it down, fellas. 10.25 minutes, final term, grand final. You're listening to it live on City Park Radio 103.7 FM. As the ball goes to ground, there's 4 or 5 Dockers there. McKenna handballs out, gets it on there to Plant. Plant handballs over the top, gets it to Barrett. Barrett with the left boot, kicks inside 50. But the only player back there is Mansell for South Launceston. And Rory Mansell marks on his chest at half-back. Gets it on quickly to Ryland Coombe. He's set upon and thrown to the ground and probably could have got 50 metres, but he's not going to get it. He stands up now and handballs out to Dravina. runs out of the last line of defence. There's his kick now wide, looking for John Cock, and John Cock marks on half-forward line, railway side of the ground.
Jay Blackberry
swings onto his left boot, kicks it in the Blackberry direction, and you call it. Matthew McGee's marked just inside 50. He plays on quickly, gets it out wide to Jay Child, and Child has marked 45 metres from goal directly in front.
They're the players that they need to get their hands on the footy, didn't they? John Cock and Blackberry. Haven't seen much of them since quarter time. And Jade Child, wow, what a big kick here. The former North Launceston player, the former boy from up the northeast of Tasmania. He's going to come in, normally known as a back pocket player. He's come to South Launceston. He's played as a midfield role. He's super fit. He does the job for Thorpe every week, and he's going to have a shot for goal.
Well, he's directly in front. The distance is about 40 metres. He's got the distance. I don't know about the accuracy. Goal umpire under the goalpost, and he sees it hit the wood. 13-point margin. That could be a very, very handy point in the shake-up of this game. 54 plays 67, and we've played 11 3/4 minutes.
A handy point, Barry.
And the kick out comes wide here to Harry Walters, who takes the mark in front of Zane Brown. He's just inside his defensive 50. Kicks wider, kicks inboard, to a teammate there in Rudy Barrett, who takes the mark. Still inside defensive 50. Slowing the tempo down a bit, the Dockers. Trail by 13 points. It's probably about another 14, 15 minutes to go. Kicks outside 50 now. Try to find Morrison. Drops a fairly easy mark. Falls to ground. John Cox in there. Can't get the ball out. Ryland Coob's in there with Rudy Barrett once again. Gets a handball forward to the ball. Taking the ball now is Brady Gray. He's been quiet since quarter time. Gets it over towards Hayes, who's held there by Trevina. And Braden Hayes will take the free kick pretty much on centre wing. And a chance to launch an attack here for the Burnie Dockers, who trail at the moment by 13 points. 12.5 minutes into the last quarter. Has Darren Bannon wide if he wants. Decides not to. Goes long inside 50 instead. Up there looking for Laycock. Well done there by Rory Manson front. Gets the ball to ground. Gets out to Ryland Coombe, who's tackled. Forces the ball forward to the ball towards Brown. He shovels the ball out towards Bowthorpe. Bowthorpe to Drake. Well done by the south defence there. He kicks out towards centre wing now towards Trevina, who takes a mark on his chest in front of Darren Bannon, positioning the body well. Kicks further forward.
Alex Russell's got the forward 50.
Space. He can either go over the top towards Russell or he can kick it himself. Thorpe takes a bounce, shoots from goal! From 40 metres out. Mitch Thorpe, that was very experienced and calm play by the captain coach of the South Launceston side. He had the choice there. He took the mark on 50, had the choice to go over the top to Alex Russell or take the shot himself. Took a bounce, went sideways, snapped truly. Margin 19 points. Matthew McGee.
I want to take you back here to centre wing, Dave. You say that there's crucial moments in games. Young Trevina here, Daniel Trevina, 1-on-1 with Darren Banham, who's a state player. Trevina, he's had a good solid game as a back and pushing up the ground. That was a terrific contest, a 1-on-1 mark here. Gives it to Thorpe. Alex Russell actually had 40 metres on his own, but Thorpe decided to take it on his own shoulders and went bang.
Back in the centre again. Up goes Cody Thorpe, rises high, gets a beautiful tap down towards Joey Harper. He's tackled though and loses possession. It's on the ground now, and about 4 players dive in, so it's going to be a secondary ball up just forward of the centre circle. Matthew.
The boys on the boundary say there is so much work going on down there on the calves, on the thighs, on the hamstrings from both teams. Both teams are, suffering from cramp and those sort of things this late in the game.
Firm, dry surface here at Aurora Stadium. Credit to the curators, and it's somebody's caught for holding the ball here, and it's going against South Launceston and against Jay Blackberry. And the free kick will be taken by Luke Shackleton. He's just to the right of the centre circle. Crowded 50 ahead of him. Not much space to kick into. So he decides just to launch it about 40 metres out from goal. Rising high there are 2 Dockers. Can't take the mark. Ball on the ground. Drake there with Hayes. It's kicked off the ground by Hayes, but it's to the right of the goalpost. And it's one behind. And brings it back to an even 3 goals now.
We talk all year, don't we, about South's forward line, and we've mentioned South have got the best defence. Rory Mansell's been tremendous down there on the key tools from Burnie. As we said, Jason Laycock, markless at the moment.
Kick out from fullback by Drake.
Here's the man.
For Mansell, but he's given a push in the back to Eli Templeton, who'll take the free kick. He's 2 kicks out from goal. Right in front of us here. Hear the boos from the South Launceston supporters. Templeton kicks up towards Laycock. As Macca said, he hasn't taken any marks today. Lee can't take the mark. It's on the ground. Laycock picks it up. Handballs over the top to Robinson, who's been quiet. Turns around on a full 360. Handballs over the top to Lee, who's tackled immediately. Gets the ball out now, but the handball is astray and it goes straight to Harper. Harper kicks blindly down the wing. Hence, he doesn't find a teammate. He finds Shackleton instead. He goes off the mark now, takes a bounce. Kicks inside 50. Looking here forwards. Great. Also Robinson, who rises high. Jumped far too early. In fact, he infringed an opponent there in Jay Blackberry. He'll take the free kick 30 metres out from his defensive goal.
Another player cramping there in Clinton Drake. Done a power work off half back's been really good.
Just ticked into the 16-minute mark of the final term, so we've just gone past the halfway mark.
He's going to pay that as well for in the back, and 50.
And
What's
50
this?
now.
No. He's called it against both Thorpe for a little push on the shoulder. There really wasn't much in it. I thought it was just pretty good work, but Brady Gray's going to take the kick about just off the Burnie side of centre wing.
Well, we haven't seen free kicks like that all day. We've just seen two in a row. There's the Gray kick now, and he kicks inside 50. Looking for and finding. He's got a teammate who's marked it down there in James Plant. And James Plant with an opportunity to keep the Dockers in the game at the 16.5-minute mark. Going to the town end in this final term. There's a little bit of breeze aiding that end of the ground, and what breeze there is would be right behind his back, and we're looking straight over his right shoulder. We get a good look at this. Here's the Plant kick. It's on its way. It's to the right. It's offline. It's through for a minor score. Dockers move along to 8-8-56. South Launceston 10-13, 73. There's the kick in there from Mansell, and just carries the compulsory 15 metres. And the umpire's calling for play on now for some reason from Blackberry as he puts it on the left boot and kicks out wide to the far side of the ground. South Launceston with an opportunity to bring the ball down the railway side of the ground through Clinton Drake. And he puts it onto the boot there now and kicks in the Mitch Thorpe direction. Somehow he got the ball in the middle of two opponents in the John Cock direction. He pushes it out in front of him and then drops what he probably should have kicked. The umpire allows him to play on. It triples across the boundary line in front of the scoreboard down there, and there'll be a throw in at the 17.5-minute mark.
The South Launceston cheer squad's moved its way down to the scoreboard there.
Isn't it great to see though that they actually walked in from the city. They went straight up Invermay Park here, Invermay Road, and you could hear them coming about 2 kilometres away.
There's the kick on the far side of the ground. Running onto it there was Bo Thorpe. He gets it out a little bit wider there to Clinton Drake, who puts it out wider still and finds the boundary line back over in front of the scoreboard. And there's a good, healthy crowd over there for a Saturday afternoon at Aurora Stadium. Grand final, State League footy. Here is David Mohr for City Park Radio 103.7.
Possibly into the last 7 or 8 minutes now of this grand final. The margin's 17 points, so Burnie need to get a goal quick smart here to keep themselves in the game. It's kicked inside 50 now for the South Launceston by Matt Hansen. Alex Russell can't take the mark. Ball feels to ground. Zane Brown's in there fighting for the ball with a couple of Burnie opponents. And it's going to be a ball up 30 metres out from the South Launceston goal.
So what, 3 goals will win it for Burnie? What are they going to have left, Dave? 10 minutes?
I'd say about 10 at the very most.
So plenty of time.
Quarters have been about 25, 26. It's only been a low-scoring one so far. As Child handballs over towards Hansen. He snaps for goal. Doesn't make the distance and fades off to the left. And it just sneaks in for one behind, which makes it an even 3 goals. And just got the guys to look at who's the best player on the ground today. And they'll be getting a $50 voucher courtesy of Paul Woods from Net 19 in Abbott Street. And thanks for Paul for supporting City Park Radio in today's grand final broadcast. As the short kicks out, end up with Cade Monday. Often has the short kick out for fullback. He's in the back pocket. He kicks up towards the wing and he finds Nick Walters. He plays on immediately, sensing that time is of the essence. Kicks up further along the wing towards James Plant, who takes a juggled mark out in front there of Dylan Riley. It's way over on the far side of the ground. Very hard to see as the clouds roll in now. Darkness starts to descend a little bit on Aurora Stadium. Kick up towards centre half forward. It's taken now here by Blackberry on that trusty left foot.
As he turns it
not
over.
so trusty this time as he's picked out Rudy Barrett on centre wing. And Tony said it's about 19 and a half minutes in this last quarter. We've probably got about 7 or 8 minutes. I've got the timekeepers next to us, so we'll get an update in a minute. It's Cade Monday has the ball now. Looking for options up forward. But kick short instead to Tyrone Morrison.
Crowd's gone quiet, haven't they? They're just waiting for something to happen, either Burnie to have a charge or South to kick the sealer.
And Tyrone Morrison kicks inside 50 here. Looking there for Darren Banham. He can't take the mark. Picked up by McKenna, who's been quiet. Charges through, gets tackled. Gets a handball away to a teammate who can't get loose. That's Dylan Smith, I think it is. And in there is Jay Child.
What a great tackle from Zane Brown. Nick McKenna come at him like an absolute steam train, and Zane Brown is about half the size as him, and he just tackled him to the ground. So tremendous effort there from little Zaney Brown.
Ball's 40 metres out from Burnie's goal. Laycock could tap out to advantage here towards Banham. Banham runs onto the ball, picks up the ball, stands up in the tackle. Handball's in front of himself. Can't get it back again. Got it back again now as Banham shoots with the left foot, but he gets too much hook on it, and it sneaks in for one behind, making the margin 17 points. South Launceston 10-14-74, Burnie 8-9-57. Barry Triffitt
20 and 3/4 minutes into the final turmoil. The kick's a poor one. It slips straight through the hands of Sean James, but John Cox there to butter up for the Bulldogs. He's on half-back. He chips it over the top. He hasn't got a great deal on offer there. The Burnie defence just thump it wide down towards Barrett. Barrett kicks it inside looking for Robinson. Robinson can't take it on the second mark. Planters there in support with him. South Launceston's James is there. Hislop just stands and delivers and kicks it out of the fence. And it's taken by Sean James down here in the last lines. He gets it out wide here now to Dylan Riley. Riley runs out of the fence for the Bulldogs. Kicks it in front of us on the broadcasting side of the ground in Keller Mansell. He takes it now and kicks in towards Thorpe. Thorpe takes the ball now and drops it. He's under a lot of pressure from Andy Lee. Quick hands over the top, and it goes on there to Laycock. Laycock takes the ball on centre wing on the broadcasting side of the ground and kicks inside 50. Shackleton takes a one-handed mark, runs on with it quickly, puts himself onto the left boot. He forces himself to bring it back a long way, and he can't do it. It's gone through for a minor score. Burnie, 8 goals, 11 I reckon that'll be, 59. And South Launceston 10-14, 74. The scoreboard might have beat me because it's saying 8-10-58.
Zane Littlejohn's joined us in the commentary box once again, and I just got the message from the timekeepers, only about 2.5 minutes to go, so not long to go here in the grand final.
So 16 points the margin as the ball's kicked out wide on the outer flank. In there for South Launceston is Jay Child. He's got the ball. He's tackled beautifully there by Barrett. The ball goes to ground, and the umpire said we'll throw it up, fellas, about 70 metres out from the end that Burnie are kicking in this final term, that being the town end of Aurora Stadium. It's on the railway side of the ground, and it's taken away here by Walters. He's been a good player in the second half, eludes a couple of players, and then runs onto the right boot and kicks from about 45 metres out. And it was Nick Walters, and he kicks his second goal for the game since moving into the forward line and been a great contributor, and Burnie still hang in. They are 9 goals, 10-64. The margin's back to 10 points. South Launceston 10-14, 74.
Look, I know firsthand, guys, Burnie know how to win from this position. I saw it in the second last round down there when we were up by pretty much the same margin, only a few minutes left, and they won the next centre clearance, went forward, and then it went their way a little bit as well, and they ended up getting the points against us. So this next centre clearance, McKenna's got on ball now. Some big body, Shackleton and Nick Walters himself on there, so this centre clearance is going to be massive.
Then 2 goals in about 2 minutes. As we know, you can get 2 goals within a minute in football these days.
Oh.
Poor bounce down by the field umpires. Field umpire there. And the secondary throw up this time.
Just a little something going down in the Burnie forward line here. Robertson's not happy with someone in the crowd by the look of things and paying absolutely no attention to the football.
As Mitch Thorpe gets the ball from the defensive side of the centre circle, kicks it wide out towards Zane Brown. I think he can push it towards the boundary line as much as he can at this final time of the game. Well played by Dylan Smith, though. Gets it over the top here towards Caleb Hislop. Hislop's got space. Kicks up now towards centre half forwards towards Templeton, and rises, can't take the mark. At the spillage, though, is Burnie. Taking the ball away there is Tyrone Morrison. He kicks inside 50, an opportunity for Burnie. Mitch Thorpe has dropped back, men defence, and knocks the ball out. Shows his experience there at the vital time in the game. He knocks the ball over the boundary line about 15 metres around from the Burnie goal.
This is really their last chance, I think. They're going to have to score a goal here, otherwise time's just unfortunate against them.
Boundary throw in, deep in attack for Burnie. Laycock over the back, hits it out towards space, but JB Harper's there. Handballs towards the boundary line towards Bowthorpe. Taking away is Shackleton. Gets a dinky little kick, but it gets smothered, and it's out of bounds. Got my eye on the timekeepers here. I think we're probably into the last minute. It's 24.5 minutes gone. The first and second corners only went 25.5. There hasn't been that many goals kicked in this last quarter. Boundary throw in. Good play there by Mitch Hills. He hits it towards the boundary line. In fact, he'll be penalised because nobody else touched the ball. Umpire said deliberate. Kick inside 50 now for Burnie. Up goes Laycock, and he takes the mark.
His first mark for the day.
His first mark, as Zane said.
Crucial
one. Now he's going to be kicking from probably just outside the 50. He's gone back quickly, knowing that time is marching on. He's going to have to kick this one, and then centre clearance from the Dockers and another goal for them to win this premiership. That's 10 points of difference. Jason Laycock, 45-degree angle, kicking from just outside 50. Experienced player, former Essendon player. In he comes. Kicks now towards goal. It's not going to make the distance quite. It's off hands, or no, it's not. Taking the mark there is Nick McKenna, but he's hard up against the goal post. He's going to be in a very stiff angle. He also knows that time is short, so he gets back quickly. He's on a very stiff angle, but he's only about 2 or 3 metres out. So if he comes around on the angle a bit here and opens it up, goes the banana and misses. Probably could have gone round. What do you think, Zane? Should he have tried the left foot snap there or gone the banana? A bit hard to...
Always tough there. I think it's a personal preference, and he obviously thought just the old right snap there was the way to go.
Well, the coach for South Launceston is going to bring the ball back in. He kicks it to himself, Mitch Thorpe, and away he goes. He kicks it 80 metres out of the fence to the railway side back flank. Over there, the siren sounds, and South Launceston have won the 2013 State League Premiership. They've kicked 10 goals, 14-74. Burnie 9-11-65. She's a grand old flag. There it goes.
Well, there we have it. The premiers for 2013, the South Launceston Bulldogs. 10-14-74, 9-11-65. Matthew McGee's out on the ground. He's going to try and get us some interviews. In fact, Matty's ready. So across down to Matthew McGee. He's out on the ground.
We've got the coach of South Launceston here, Mitchell Thorpe. Mitchell, can you believe that you're a premiership coach? I can't. TSL level, mate. Unbelievable game. We knew Burnie would throw everything at us. It was a typical grand final. Wasn't that pretty, but my word, the boys worked hard. And oh, what a game. Yeah, mate. All right, so go and enjoy. We'll hear from you later. Fantastic. Well done.
Thanks to Matthew down the boundary line. And we'll get interviews from Matthew as he grabs people down there. But, Zane, your first reaction to the South taking out the premiership?
Oh, look, fantastic. Well deserved. Well done to Mitch and the boys. He took the job on a couple of years ago and really put in the hard work with them and had a tough year there last year, but he knew that what he had in place was the right thing, and it's shown now.
And Barry will get the goal kickers. If we get Matthew again, we'll just cut across.
Yeah, so, no problems at all. For South Launceston, the coach himself kicked 2 goals, and so too did Dylan Riley. Singles to Rulla Kelly Mansell, and that was an absolute gem in the last quarter. Bart McCulloch kicked one, and Will Hanson, also Joby Harper and Thane Bardenhagen, Alex Russell, and I think Matthew McGee is down with another player on the ground.
I've got Bart McCulloch with me here. Bart, congratulations, mate. Probably not the day that you want it personally, but you must be wrapped in the team effort. Oh, look, doesn't matter personal today. It's a great team win and best day of my life. Yeah, well done, mate. Go and enjoy with your team. Thanks, Macca.
Okay, Matthew McGee doing a great job down the boundary there, getting those first reactions in. No, it's always a very emotional time because there's so much that goes into a footy season, isn't there, Zane? You know, you start pretty soon, really, October, November, and it's the culmination of such a lot of effort.
Spot on. There's a lot of hard work that goes into footy clubs, and the blokes out there right now, and obviously Burnie's had a fantastic year and they've put in a lot of hard work, but obviously unfortunately there can only ever be one winner, which is a sad thing about sport, but also makes it what our great game really is.
We're seeing something, I'll get back to Baz and the goal kicks in a bit, we're seeing something great at the ground now that grand final was played in excellent spirit. There was a lot of hype about, that the knuckle might be happening and that sort of thing, but you're seeing there that players all shaking hands. I can't really think of a nasty moment of that grand final. And for younger players, that's important for them to see that you can play in a premiership and you can play a hard game and play it fair.
With so many people here today, it's a great sale for our game of footy and footy in Tasmania. And I guess you can probably hear a lot of states would talk about Tassie footy being a bit thuggish and all that, but today was a great spectacle.
And just watching young Dan Chodcock having a chat to Nick McKenna, and they had an incident at Youngtown a few weeks ago where I think Dan injured his shoulder. And we've got Matthew McGee down to the ground again. Who have you got, Macca?
Yeah, mate, I've got the captain of the South Launceston Premiership captain, I should say, Mitchell Hills. Mitch, tell us how you're feeling, champ.
Pretty excited, mate. It was just unbelievable feeling. I'm so proud of the boys. Just can't believe it, mate. Fantastic news by everyone today.
And you said during the week that, you've been through the tough times here at South Launceston, but to stand here as a TSL Premiership player.
Oh, mate, I just didn't think it was going to happen, mate, ever. To be honest, to tell you the truth, I just never thought it would happen. The boys came together a couple of years ago. We worked our asses off for 2.5 years to try and make this happen. With this goal in mind, happened before we thought it would happen, but I'm so happy, mate. The last mistake was
today's game, mate. It was a tough game. Burnie kept coming at you.
Yeah, mate, look, they played good footy. They were really good today. They sort of shut down some of our run, their outside run, but our boys knew that we had the run in our leagues to fight it out. Whatever they put up for us, we could overcome, so it's fantastic.
All right, Mitch, look, I'll let you go to enjoy the celebrations, mate. Premiership captain, congratulations. Thanks, mate.
Thanks again to Matthew McGee down in the ground, catching up there with Mitchell Hills. Baz, we didn't finish those goal kickers. Let's see if we can do it.
There's the Burnie Dockers. Their major goal kickers were Luke Shackleton and Brady Gray. Both kicked 2 apiece. And then singles to Andrew Lee, Braden Hayes and Russell Robinson.
Okay, and just about the 20-minute mark of that last quarter, I got Zane and Matthew to pick out who we thought was the best player, who was going to win our award today, who was donated very kindly by Paul Woods from Net 19 in Abbott Street, just down the road from Relish. And Matty Hansen is won our award for the best player on the ground and winning that voucher.
Right on cue. Here, mate. You've won our Player of the Day award. Congratulations, Premiership player. Fantastic personal game and a great team effort today by the Bulldogs.
Thanks, James. Couldn't have done it without the team, mate. It's just great feelings.
Tell us about your second quarter, mate. You had 15 touches in that second quarter. You just ran yourself into the ground.
I was just good to get my hands on it. Teammates helped out a lot. I know I got a bit of free ball, but I couldn't have done it with the teammates.
Yeah. And an 18-year-old mate, you've now become a statewide league premiership player.
Yeah.
And to play with your brother, that must be special.
Yeah, it's real special.
Yeah. All right, mate. We'll enjoy the celebrations tonight. Congratulations on a great game.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thanks again there to Matthew McGee, and we'll be bringing you the presentation here. The players are moving over towards the dais, and it's a sea there of red, white and blue at the moment. Lots of support here for the Bulldogs. And it's sort of a tinge with a bit of sadness today, Barry, with South Launceston leaving the State League. It's sort of hard to believe. It's a bit sort of surreal in a way to realise that we're watching a team about to take out a premiership. That okay, they'll exist in another form next year, but as the South Launceston Bulldogs, that they won't be there in the State League next year.
No, it's unusual. I mean, it's different. We've never experienced this before, have we? And I've been following football for a long time, and there's a premiership team that's going to be demoted almost, aren't they? They're going to go back to another league. So I think Matthew's got somebody else down there at the moment.
Macca, who have you got for us?
Yeah, mate, I've got Jay Blackberry. Jay, congratulations, TSL Premiership player.
Thank you. It's good feeling.
Yeah, mate, you've been at the club from a junior, from a really youngster there, following your uncle around. What does this mean to you, mate?
It's a lot. Probably played a bit for the family as well.
Yeah, you and the Orr family, a big South Launceston name.
There's not many years I haven't been up there. So
no, you're right.
It's very much.
And your own game today, mate. Tough gig in and around the footy at times.
Yeah, battled away. Got a few late touches, but that was about it.
Yeah. All right, mate. Well, look, enjoy the night. Congratulations.
Thank
well
you.
Done.
Okay, thanks there to Macca and Jay Blackberry, and it's great for these Bulldogs that have been at the club a long time to taste that success. We talked to Mitch Hills there and Jay Blackberry and these guys that have been through the difficult times and now stuck with it, and the premiership's a reward.
It's quite interesting when you talk to players. I mean, they're elated that they've won, and he's a little bit down that he hadn't played probably quite to the standard he would have liked to have played in the grand final. But you can't play to your best every week. It just doesn't happen, and you're just not in the best players every week. And sometimes you've got to battle hard. And to his credit, like he said, he got a few touches later on, and he had to get them later on because some of the other players that had been good had started to fade a little bit out of the game. So everybody did their job.
We're going to cross down the ground now, and I think the presentation's about to get underway. So I'll turn up the microphone.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the presentation following what was a fabulous grand final between South Launceston and Burnie. And firstly, a round of applause for Brent Plant and the Burnie Dockers. A wonderful effort, boys. You did your club proud. A little earlier, we had the Tassie medal presented to Mitch Thorpe. It was a bit rushed. Mitch was ready to run out and play in the grand final. So I'd invite Dominic Baker to come forward and once again present the Tassie medal for the best player in the competition to Mitch Thorpe from South Launceston.
It was a bit rushed before, and we appreciate Mitch actually coming to accept the medal before the game, but maybe we'd like to do it properly. Congratulations, the best player in the TSL for 2013 and the Tassie medalist, Mitch Thorpe. Well done, brother. Congratulations, mate.
Dominic, before you go, we've got the presentation of the Baldock medal for the best of field. And the best player, adjudged best player in the grand final is Joby Harper. I'd now like to invite Tennille Savage, who is Roy Kazali's great-granddaughter, to come forward and present the Kazali medal to the Premiership coach, Mitch Thorpe. Now invite the South Launceston Kick Centre. They'll be coming forward to present the medals to the Premiership players from the South Launceston Football Club. Number 1, Daniel Trevena.
City Park Radio's coverage of the TSL Grand Final.
Number 2, Bo Thorpe.
And at the moment, the players are getting their Premiership medals.
Number 3, Jay Blackberry. Number 4, Brandon McGee.
Okay, we'll just fade down the presentations there just for a moment. We'll come back when the Premiership Cup is being presented. So we'll just have a quick look at some of the stats there for today.
Yeah, well, the Baldock medalists, who obviously Joey Harper, had 17 disposals, 14 kicks and only 3 handballs, but hit the scoreboard, which probably might have just got him over the line in the end, I'm thinking. But Matty Hansen, who obviously won our player today, had 30 disposals, 24 kicks, 6 handballs, which is a fantastic effort. But yeah, and on the other hand for Burnie, 24 disposals to Banham, 23 to Monday. Shackleton got up there to 17 as well in the end. Big names for Burnie, but just couldn't quite get them over the line.
Yeah, they did. Some of those big players for Burnie in that last quarter did lift, but it just wasn't quite enough. They found themselves too far behind on the scoreboard and just couldn't bridge that gap.
Yeah, exactly. And look, I look here now again, and Mitch Thorpe, the coach, and he had 11 marks, 21 disposals. Not a bad game for the leader of the South Lonnie Footy Club.
Yeah, I mean he was influential and early, but he had that last quarter, even dropping in defence there when he knew that the game was on the line. No, he dropped down in defence and made a crucial spoil.
Well, looking at the group stats, the team stats as well. Obviously, Burnie hit back with inside 50s in the last quarter, having 17 to 8, but still a 10 difference overall in the whole game. So that's hard to sustain.
Yeah. And Zane, what do you think about the whole concept here of? I know you like to keep out of the politics of TSL football, but does it feel a bit strange that South Launceston here are winning the Premiership? And okay, they might be in a different form, the prospect team next year, but how do you feel about that? I mean, obviously your heart's with North Launceston, but have you got a reaction to it?
Oh, look, I'm in a way a little bit disappointed for Mitch and the boys, because it's out of their control. It's not their fault. Unfortunately, It's probably the governance of the footy club and what's happened there. And unfortunately, the players don't control that. They just control what happens on the field, and they've done everything they can. And unfortunately, some people off field probably haven't done what they need to do to make sure the club is in a position to continue in the TSL.
I suppose from what we're hearing, the players are going to stick together next year and go to that new entity.
Hope not. hopefully a few cross over when they come to North Launceston.
That's right. But anyway, I think in our discussions before, it's been great. The 3 teams have been fantastic in Northern Tassie this year. The Lonnie, North Launceston and South Launceston, and there have been some great battles between the 3 throughout the season.
Oh, definitely. And I think it's hopefully with the if these boys do cross over to the new side and now hopefully in the coming years that the three Lonnie teams will be really strong again, and it'd be nice to see 2 Lonnie teams, one in the red and black and a blue and white team, or whatever the new side wears, out here playing this time next year. It'd be nice. It's
the 3rd grand final in a row where there hasn't been a southern team participating, so may that trend continue as a parochial northerner.
Yeah, be nice.
Okay, getting close. Sorry, Baz.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say we looked at the stats and that there, but we probably haven't looked at the better players as yet, as we saw it up here in the commentary box. So I might have a look at the Burnie Dockers, and Zane might have a look at the South Launceston fellas. And of course, we're looking more than just who got all the stats. We're looking at those that we thought were the better players in the game, and they were in the stats, of course, some of them. And Darren Banham and Rudy Barrett were certainly terrific footballers, contributed all day for the Dockers out there. Kate Monday was also a fantastic player for them. I thought Brady Gray did some wonderful things at times, and when Burnie were falling off the pace on 2 or 3 occasions, he was the one that bobbed up and just sort of did something special, kicked a couple of goals as well. Caleb Hislop, I thought, was a terrific contributor for them right throughout the day, and at times he just made paths for other players and pushed and shoved his way through and allowed other players to probably get a clear possession of the ball. And then they had other players that flashed in and out of the game. Dylan Smith did some good things. Andrew Lee was there on occasions, and Nick Walters, I thought, when he went down to the forward line in the second half, was a terrific player for them as well. And the further the game went, players like Luke Shackleton got better and better as the sort of the game went on. But certainly some good players right across, and other people have different views on it. But they were my better players, I thought, for Burnie. Before we get to you, Zane, we might just go back to the presentations, because we're getting close to the end of the medal presentations, and we'll be having the Premiership Cup given to the South Launceston Bulldogs in just a moment.
And the playing coach, Mitchell Thorpe. Just before we present the cup to the boys, I know Mitchell would like to say a few words.
Thanks very much to the crowd for turning out today. It was a pretty tough, hard game. Full credit to Burnie. They're an outstanding club, first and foremost, and an outstanding football side. So I think everyone should put their hands together for Burnie. To our boys, it's been an interesting season. I think everyone's aware of that, and you've stuck at it. And I can't be more proud of the way you grinded the game out today. And let's have a couple of refreshments tonight.
I now invite Trent Sayers, the CEO of RATC Insurance, the sponsors of the competition, to come forward and present the cup to the two Mitches. Premiers, South Launceston.
As the players get together with a traditional photo, it's been taken with the Premiership Cup. There's lots of press photographers there, and the celebrations will now get underway as the song belts out through the PA again. Congratulations to the South Launceston Bulldogs, Premiers for 2013. Okay, Zane, we'll get to you now. Better players from your point of view there.
Yeah, well, obviously we've spoken about the Hanson, the Harpers, the Thorpes, and all those type of things, but I think we've got to pay credit to the lesser likes of South Launceston Footy Club, and they've been fantastic all year. These guys who aren't big names in TSL footy, aren't big names in Tassie footy, but they've just done their job week in, week out. The likes of, and I know we mentioned his name a little bit in the call today, in Jay Child. Left our footy club at the end of the year last year, and that was fine, and we're really happy for him to find a new home and have a really good, successful year at South. But he's had 15 disposals today, played on Eli Templeton, kept him to 10 as well, so that's a fantastic effort. I know Barry mentioned too before about Sean James playing on Robertson. He's had 14 disposals, had 6 in the last quarter when the game was there to be won. That's a fantastic effort, and just a player who not many people talk about but has really done his job. Clinton Drake off half-back as well. Rory Mansell, these type of guys who are going to be names now in TSL footy, which is fantastic for them. But so there's some really quality players there who really stepped up today and have stepped up all year and just continue to play their role for their footy club.
Injuries are a big thing with a backline, isn't it? If you can get a set back six that goes through the whole season together, it just makes such a difference, doesn't it?
Oh, massively, and that's one thing we've tried to get into our footy club is to settle our back six down first, and we have different players go through there at times, but the core group of it is sticks together, and if you've got some good leaders there, it really does help. Mansell for South Launceston really leads from the front. He's done a fantastic job this year. Yeah, I thought your thoughts there on Sean James, on Robinson. I mean, he kicked 4 last week. As an experienced player, and okay, Robbo got a couple of touches here and there, but he certainly didn't have a big influence on the game. Well, he's only had 9 touches, Robertson, and James. James to have 14 on that is a fantastic effort.
Okay, back to Matthew McGee.
Yeah, mate, you there?
Yes, Matthew. Who have you got?
Yeah, mate, I've got best on ground medalist Joby Harper with me, the Bulldog medalist, mate. Congratulations. Thanks, mate. Oh, it's just happy to get the win. Take the moment, And tell us, what was your role today, mate? What was your role in the game? My role? Oh, my job was just to work hard, because I use my tank, and just work the Burnie midfield over. That's just my role.
Okay, and this obviously means a lot to you and your family, South Lonnie people, up in the juniors and that. Now you're a senior TSL premiership player.
Yeah, it's a bit surreal, really. Like, we were on bottom of the ladder a couple of years ago. Nobody didn't give us a chance at the start of the year to come and do this, to finish for our club in the state league. Yeah, couldn't be any better finish.
And obviously, a really good tight group of mates. A lot of you gone to school with. How special is that?
Oh, pretty special. Our whole group are good mates, and we'll hang around with each other outside of footy as well. So
yeah, all right,
it's even better winning with your friends.
Well, look, you enjoy the night, and congratulations personally, and also for the team.
Thanks, Bugger.
Well done.
Thanks down there to Matthew McGee, who's on the ground level talking to Joby Harper, one of the outstanding young players that the South Launceston club have taken from a junior right through now to the senior ranks. And Joby Harper's a class footballer, isn't he, Zane? He's sort of very versatile, and when the chips are down, he's one of those ones that are in there getting the hard ball.
Extremely versatile. We went and watched them play a practice game earlier this year against the Mariners sort of before the season started, and expected to see him down in the back line. And looked up and he's starting on ball, and that's fantastic for him, because his ability to run and use his tank, like he mentioned, one of his main roles was today, is his best asset, and he did that really well today.
One thing I don't know we've got to, Zane, was the team stats there over the whole game.
Yeah, well, like I mentioned before, obviously the inside 50s was a big one. Burnie actually won the last quarter 17-8, but a difference of 10 there in South's favour, which was massive. The clearances there as well. Burnie actually really got on top of them in the second half, and the last quarter was 13-5, but broke 11 in front in total over the whole game, which was a great effort for South to win the game, because that's where Burnie really set up a lot of their play from their clearances. So to be able to win the game still and be 11 down on the clearances is a fantastic effort.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think of Laycock's game? I mean, he obviously won a lot of tap-outs, but around the ground he wasn't very influential at all.
Yeah, he obviously injured his knee against us, and I always questioned he didn't go in for an operation or anything like that. So I always questioned, well, what's going on with that? Is he 100%, or is he just trying to try and get through, or are they injecting it, or what's going on? You don't know, because look, he's a dangerous player when he's mobile, because he can push forward and take that mark. To take one mark, and it was in the last quarter, in the last sort of 2 minutes of the game. Yep. That's South would be really happy with that.
He didn't even fall in the gap in the back half today, did he? I mean, normally at least he gets back there and contests, but today he just didn't do that at all.
Spot on, and that's what I spoke about all week when people asked me, who's going to win, how you going to go, and I said, well, if Jason Laycock turns up to play, Burnie can win the game, and I think he turned up to play in patches today, but just his consistency over the whole 4 quarters wasn't quite there. So
when you look at the game, there wasn't one tall for Burnie that was a good player for them today.
No, not really. Probably Andy Lee, probably for a patch in that second quarter where he went forward and took a couple of marks, but other than that, absolutely none. So McKenna didn't have much influence really, and did his little bit on Thorpe there at some stages, but no real tall for Burnie. Really took the game and grabbed hold of it.
I suppose for Burnie, some of those big blokes, McKenna had injury worries towards the end of the season. Obviously Laycock, who knows whether he totally recovered from that injury. So it just shows if you come into a final series, maybe not at 100% fitness, come these sort of games, it's difficult. Okay, Matthew, who have you got for us down on the ground there?
Mate, I'm down in the rooms. The South Lonnie Bulldogs are about to sing the song. The cup's in the middle, so this is all for, obviously, our South Lonnie listeners out there on City Park Radio.
Okay, thank you, Matthew.
It's going to be pretty loud and strong.
Here we go.
We're about to go. I think they're waiting for their coach, Mitchell Thorpe, to come in. The chant's gone up. Thorpe. You can probably hear it. Unbelievable atmosphere. Here we go.
You're listening to City Park Radio's coverage of the TSL Grand Final. Still waiting there for the song to emerge from the rooms. Obviously they're just waiting for a few players to get in the mix there.
And there we go, mate. They've sung the song. Oh. Absolutely outstanding.
There we go, Matthew. We didn't quite hear it, but we were there in spirit.
Oh, no worries. Okay.
That's okay. Thanks to Matthew McGee down there in the rooms. It's not easy at this time of the day to get everything live to air. Okay, so the ground hours are washed with people having a bit of a kick. That's the end of another TSL season. We'll be on air now for another 10 minutes till 5 o'clock when Reeling in the Years will come on to City Park Radio. Let's talk about the season as a whole. Zane, do you think it's been it's hard to get out of the newspapers all the stuff about mergers and all that sort of stuff, but from a football point of view, what do you think of the season as a whole?
Oh, look, I think it's been fantastic. I think we've seen some emergence of some new players in Tassie footy, which has been excellent, and the future of Tassie footy, obviously with some new licence being signed for each club moving forward, is going to be really exciting. I think AFL Tas will be really looking forward to 2014 season starting and getting going. I think there's a lot of water to go under the bridge between now and then, but I definitely think they'll be sitting back now today's over and thinking, okay, let's get 2014 happening and let's get moving.
Barry, from your point of view?
Yes, I think it's been a very interesting season, and we've seen some really good games since we started doing this coverage midway through the year, Dave, and it's been fantastic. And the good thing about it, I suppose, from our point of view, is that a lot of the northern sides have been in the top 5 or 6 right throughout the season, and I mean even Zane North were right there, and just for a couple of 1-point losses, could have been well and truly in the fix in the finals. And from a northern point of view, I think it's been very successful. And when you look down south, Clarence have been their normal goodies, as they always are, and the rest of them sort of fell off the pace a little bit, I think. It'll be interesting to see what they do coming up with a new side altogether, and then the new North Hobart, what are they going to be, Hobart City or something like that? So maybe things will change around in 2014. I
don't know what you think, Zane, but I think the competition was reasonably even. I mean, I know Hobart and Devonport had the odd thrashing, but there wasn't a lot of blowouts in games. There was a lot of games where teams were very competitive against each other.
Yeah, spot on it. And that's one thing we always felt going into every game, that we could win every game regardless of who we were playing. And I think that it's good for footy when the competition's like that. And even going against the Devonports and the Hobarts, they still have some quality players in their group, and you were never confident you could just go down and win a game against them. So I think that's great for footy. It's obviously would have been nice to see another northern club in the top 5, but unfortunately we missed out. But it's look, footy in Tassie, I think, is really healthy at the moment. Obviously, our state side went away, the senior state side went away and played at Neefel and won that game over there, which is fantastic for footy in Tassie and just puts us back on the map, hopefully, for Australian footy.
Yep. Okay, we've got, as I said, about another 7 or 8 minutes to go here in our coverage. And if you've just tuned in, if you don't know the result, it was 10-14-74 South Launceston to 9-11-65 for Burnie. And just joining us back in the commentary box after getting interviews and whatnot downstairs for us is Matthew McGee. Matthew, you're...
Hi, Dave.
I know you've had an association with the South Launceston Football Club over the years.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that premiership?
Look, it's personally, it's fantastic. Having I've coached a fair few of those boys through school footy at St Pat's and also in the Colts a few years ago. Seeing people like Will Hansen, who I coached a few years ago in the Colts. He was a struggling, real skinny player. To watch him play, have a real influence today. Personally, it's fantastic.
Mate, we sit here, mate, and I always say, our list is quite young, but I'm going through South Launceston's list, and they're still quite young.
Yeah, I think they have
a great future if they
14 under 25 or something like that.
Great future if they stick together.
That's it, and what the future holds for those players, who knows with the prospect end of the. I think that's the good part about today, that it is South Launceston's last game. In fact, they've won a premiership. But the sad part is that we're not going to see the Bulldogs in the TSL next year, and who knows what the prospect end is going to look like. The atmosphere in the club down there in the rooms was outstanding. So, Mitchell Thorpe, I think, even shed a bit of a tear during the song. He's just that proud of his players.
Yeah, but it was a funny sort of game because you never thought that Burnie were out of it, but they were always that 2 or 3 goals. They never.
Yeah, I just said that to a man in the lift then. I said, both sides had their chances.
They did hit the front in the second quarter, Burnie, but South
throughout the
game.
Yeah. And Joby Harper won the medal.
Yes.
Which I don't know what his final stats were, Zane. What were they? He was influential, wasn't he? He was about the third top stat getter there. But he was fantastic. He actually said that he uses his tank, and that's his pride and joy, that he's got such amazing endurance that he uses, and you could see that even in the last quarter. He's that fit aerobically that he can just keep going and going and going. So, yeah.
while you were downstairs, Matthew, we're just talking about the season as a whole.
Yep.
I mean, how it was for the Tasmanian Statewide League. I mean, you couldn't get it off the papers or the stuff about the restructure, but how did you feel the season was overall?
Yeah, look, on field I thought the season was fantastic. You know, there wasn't that much difference between the top and the bottom. You know, Devonport had a win earlier in the year against Launceston, and you know, the Northern Bombers were very competitive. Hobart, you know, got some good players in around their club like James Charlesworth, which made opposition clubs, you know, have to worry a little bit about Hobart when you got a quality player like that. You know, there were some terrific games, and I don't know, we were pretty lucky here on City Park Radio that most of the games we did were inside, you know, 3 or 4 goals. I think there was only probably one game that was a bit of a blowout,
That's right.
and that was it. So, you know, when you can use Aurora Stadium as well, I think if obviously the new Prospect side play more of their games here with the Northern Bombers, and also, you know, Launceston going to do a bit of an upgrade down there, I think, at Windsor Park. Yep. It's a good future for TSL footy in Launceston.
Okay, so premiers for 2013 in the Statewide League, South Launceston Bulldogs, and they've defeated the Burnie Dockers by 9 points here at Aurora Stadium. And fantastic grand final. Did we get a crowd figure, Matthew? What was your gut feeling down there? Would you?
I think that, well, they said 5 or so in the past, so I reckon it was up around there. There was a lot of people down around there, you know, when the presentations were on, and a lot of people in the grandstand. Just wandering past the front of us here now is Bull Ramoth, obviously a tremendous footballer back in the NTFA days, and his son Tom Ramoth's now a premiership player. He'd be very proud, the Bull.
And we wonder whether Mitch Thorpe, that might be his last game for the Bulldogs, whether he's off for a second crack at the AFL.
I think there are some clubs now with the 2 extra AFL teams in the Giants and the Gold Coast. There's more spots on the list available. I think the good thing about Mitchell Thorpe over this year, he's shown that his attitude's changed, and that was obviously the big issue at Hawthorn, along with his body letting him down. But he showed maturity as a coach, and he copped a little bit early when he was a coach, and they were saying, is he the right person to coach? But the way he's brought those young boys together and really coached from the front and led, and you know, the structures and that he's put in place, he's very professional in his approach to the games, and he led from the front, and he was you know, he won the Tassie medal out there today. He was given that. He's he's got every chance. He'll obviously go to testing in a couple of weeks over in Melbourne, not to the main draft camp, but to a secondary testing where they go through all the same tests. So they'll check out his speed and his endurance and those sort of things. And you know, he's got every chance.
So, another question for you, Macca, and I guess it's probably been a question on a lot of recruiters' lips is about McCulloch and probably his body. And unfortunately today has let him down again, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, look, it was obviously his nemesis up in Brisbane was his thigh. I was talking to someone the other day, and the positive was that he had managed to string through 20-odd games this year and play, which was fantastic for him. But now that thigh's come about again, it's just a risk, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I was lucky enough to coach him for the Tassie side this year in the midfield group, and he was absolutely fantastic. The way he went about his footy, his professionalism and his approach and all that, and his willingness to listen and continue to learn. So if he could get onto another list, I think he could add a club a bit, but it's just that body question. Is his body right to do it?
Yeah.
Well, it's just about time for us to wrap up here. In about 3 minutes' time, we'll have Reeling in the Years with Rob Wells, so stick with City Park Radio. And please, if you're interested in becoming a member, you can support us, 63343344. Give us a ring. And more people join as members, the more broadcasts like this we can do for the community. It's been a pleasure working. We've got the full crew in here at the box at the moment. We've got our boundary riders, Doc Reed and Sean Mountain. I asked them to go to air. They're a bit shy, but that's all right. But they've done a fantastic job. I'd like to thank both of those guys through the years. They've been with us since June the 1st at Windsor Park and the cold depths of winter, and they've been there at all times giving us the information from the boundary. So thanks, guys, for your contribution during the year. Thanks also today to the Lonnie Stats guys, Ian, Damien and Darren, for their services. With Launceston not playing, I put out the message to them early in the week where they help us out, and they were fantastic and provided very comprehensive stats for us today. And it's not easy when you're doing stats on players that you're not that familiar with. So thank them for their work, not just today but in Launceston games throughout the year. Thanks to Chris back at the studio. He's been a great help this year. And thanks to all the clubs that have supported us in our broadcasts. Guys, it's been a great fun. I hope you've enjoyed the ride along the way.
Yeah, definitely, Dave. It's look, credit to yourself too. It was your brainchild. You're a passionate local sport person, and not only have you done the footy, but you obviously did the basketball and the soccer as well. And we hope to build on it next year in 2014.
And thanks also obviously to the Tornadoes and also the Victory League soccer people for helping us out this year. And Barry, thanks for making a comeback into the box and doing so well. And without your experience, it wouldn't have been possible.
Oh, it's been fantastic, and like Matthew just said, the things that you've done behind the scenes, and setting up all the gear. I mean, you lug it in here about 2 hours prior to the game, and people look at you coming through the gate and check out the car and everything like that, expecting you might have a bomb or something in there. And then we wrap it all up and we humbly walk down the back stairs and take it back to your boot of the car again after the footy. But it's all part of the fun, isn't it? And
that's right.
I've met you, and I've met Matthew again after a lot of years, and people like Zane and that we've met along the way, and that's what it's all about. It's all about sport.
Thanks, Barry, and thanks, Zane, for helping out today, and hopefully we'll be able to work in some capacity next season.
Yeah, definitely. No, once again, thanks for having me. It's great for TSL footy to get a bit of coverage on the radio. It's fantastic. Thanks very much, guys.
Okay, so we're just about to wrap up here. Hopefully we'll be back next season to cover statewide footy, basketball,